Dear students, today's topic is the foreign policy of India. The main objectives of present module are to identify the factors determining India's foreign policy, to point out the main principle of India's foreign policy, to discuss the main guiding principle of Indian foreign policy, to focus on Indian foreign policy based on changing international milieu. The foreign policy of India, like that of every other country in the world, is the desired goals and interests of the country which regulates the country's relations with other countries and international bodies like the UN, etc. In other words, the foreign policy of India is to achieve its national interest. The foreign policy of India is shaped by a number of factors, be it geography, economic and military factors, history and cultural tradition. Basic principle of Indian foreign policy. The main guiding principle of Indian foreign policy are as follows. Number one, preservation of world peace. Indian foreign policy seems to have been affected by Gandhism and past tradition. The preference to Marxism minus violence in economic and political institutions is articulated through World Forum. The Constitution of India under Article 51 directs the Indian state to promote international peace and security, maintain just and honorable relations between nations, foster respect for international law and treaty obligations, and encourage settlement of international disputes by arbitration. The ideal of world peace suits to India's need for rapid growth of economic institutions to promote production, import of technical know-how, and foreign investment. Number two, non-alignment. The policy of non-alignment implies that India is not prepared to join any system of pact or alliance, to commit hardship to any camp in the bipolar politics of the USA-led capitalist bloc and former USSR-led socialist bloc. Even though the USSR was disintegrated in 1991, its applicability is still prevalent, and India has been following the policy of non-alignment. The policy of non-alignment as practiced by India now means, number one, India has no military alliance with any bloc or any nation. Number two, India has an independent approach to foreign policy, and India attempts to maintain friendly relations with all countries. Number three, anti-imperialism. The foreign policy of India opposes colonialism and imperialism. India's views that colonialism and imperialism lead to exploitation of the weaker nations by the imperialist power and affects the promotion of international peace. India advocated the liquidation of colonialism in all forms and supported the liberation movement in all Afro-Asian countries like Indonesia, Libya, Tunisia, Malaya, Algeria, Ghana, Namibia, etc., which were going on even after the end of World War II. India also supported the Palestinians' right of self-determination from the occupation of Israel. The present neo-colonialism and neo-imperialism is also opposed by India. Number four, anti-racialism. On account of anti-racial policies adopted by the British in colonial period, when India became independent, she opposes to racialism in all forms. Anti-racialism becomes an important principle guiding the foreign policy of India. According to India, racialism, like colonialism and imperialism, leads to exploitation of the black by the white, social inequality, and hinder the promotion of world peace. India strongly criticized the policy of apartheid, racial discrimination being followed by white minority racist regime of South Africa. Before Nelson Mandela and President F.W. de Klerk made a new constitution of South Africa in early 1990s. Number four, peaceful coexistence. One of the important characteristics of Indian foreign policy is respect with peaceful coexistence. The principle of peaceful coexistence has been enshrined in the Panchashil, the five principles of conduct in international relations. The principles were first embodied in a treaty signed in 1954 by Jawaharlal Nehru, the Prime Minister of India, and Zhou Enlai, the Premier of China on the issue of Tibet. The 5 principles were mutual respect for each other's territorial integrity and sovereignty. Number 2, non-aggression. Number 3, non-interference in each other's internal affairs. Number 4, equality and mutual benefit. And number 5, peaceful coexistence. Panchashils aim at the necessity of peace in Asia and Africa for their economic development. It was an effort to defuse the Cold War tension which divided the world into two armed groups. Panchashil became very popular among all the sovereign states of the world. It was demanded that those principles should be applied in international relations. Panchashil and non-alignment are the greatest contribution of India to the theory and practice of international relations. Number 6, Afro-Asian bias. India's bias for Afro-Asian countries was a corollary of her anti-imperialism and anti-racialism. She has always exhibited a special bias toward the Afro-Asian nations in all international forums. It aims at promoting unity among them and tries to secure for them a voice and an influence in the international bodies. India has been seeking international assistance for the economic development of these countries. Prime Minister Nehru first attempted to project Asianism in his foreign policy through the Asian Relations Conference, which was held in Delhi in March 1947, when the partition of the country had already been decided upon. She also played an important role in the independence of Indonesia from the Dutch. In the Bandung Conference of Afro-Asian Countries, 1955, India played an active role in this conference. War with China in 1962 and with Pakistan in 1965 and 1971 undermined the foundation of Afro-Asianism as an element of India's foreign policy. In spite of such setbacks, India has been playing in the formation of many organizations of neighboring countries, Asia and Africa, like SAARC 1985, Indian Ocean Rim Association for Regional Cooperation 1995, etc. Thus, India has earned the name of Big Brother from many of the neighboring countries. Number 7, link with Commonwealth. India, even though became independent from the British, still remains a member of the Commonwealth because of some pragmatic reasons. It thought that the membership in the Commonwealth will be beneficial to her in the economic, political, cultural, and other spheres. It has been playing an important role in the SOGAM Commonwealth Head of Government meet. India hosted the 24th Commonwealth Summit at New Delhi in 1983. Number 8, support to the UNO. India became a member of UNO in 1945 when she was under the British rule. Since then, it has been supporting the activities and program of the UNO. It has expressed full faith in the objectives and principles of the UNO. In support of the UN resolution, India participated actively in the UN peacekeeping missions in Korea, Congo, Cambodia, Angola, Somalia, Sierra Leone, Yugoslavia, etc. India has contributed nearly 195,000 troops, the largest number from any country, participated in more than 49 UN missions, and 168 Indian peacekeepers have made the supreme sacrifice while serving the UN missions. India has also provided and continues to provide eminent force commander for UN missions. India has been supporting all good works initiated by the UN till now. Disarmament. India has been opposing arms race and advocate disarmament, both conventional and nuclear weapons, to promote world peace and security. India has been using the UNO platform to achieve disarmament. India did not sign Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty (NPT) of 1968, which prohibited nuclear tests by non-NATO power countries. However, India conducted its first nuclear test on May 18, 1974 at Pokhran during the Prime Ministership of Indira Gandhi, and again under the Prime Minister of Atal Bihari Vajpayee conducted Second, a series of nuclear tests in 1998, 5 in numbers at Pokhran. India also does not sign Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty CTBT of 1996. The main reason for not signing NPT and CTBT by India is that both NPT and CTBT are discriminatory and hegemonistic in nature because which allow only 5 veto power nations, namely USA, UK, Russia, formerly represented by former USSR up to 1991, France to possess legitimately nuclear weapons while denied the same to other non-veto power nations. In spite of conducting nuclear tests, India has been observing its nuclear option open by keeping no fast use and a voluntary moratorium on nuclear tests. It has been expressing a firm commitment toward a non-discriminatory and time-bound CTBT in the international forum. Conclusion: as a member of the UNO and preserver of world peace, India has been using a number of principles like non-alignment, anti-colonialism, anti-racialism, peaceful coexistence, preservation of world peace, disarmament, and faith in the UNO, etc., to achieve her desired foreign policy objectives, which are in conformity with the changing international value. Due to this factor, India is now focusing on Southeast and East Asian countries to look its policy, now its policy, since 1991. In spite of some up and down in the foreign policy of India at present, India's image is becoming stronger and popular. Thank you.
Chairman,